Now, with an 11 breaking weather alert. This is KKTV 11 News at 5:30.
That's right, folks. Been an active afternoon with thunderstorms, some of those severe moving across parts of southern Colorado. This is amazing video from Eric Kelly, our 11 breaking weather chaser, shot with a drone above Falcon about an hour or so ago. And you can see it looks like it snowed right there, but that's actually hail, pea to dime size hail, and a lot of it. It's stacked up about 4 to 5 inches deep in a lot of places. Fortunately, a lot of that is melted, things getting back to normal. But this is what it actually looked like from ground level as Eric was driving into Falcon a little bit earlier this afternoon. You could see it piled up right there, obviously slowing traffic down. And when it was getting with it, there was a lot of rain being dumped there too. So it certainly wasn't a good place to be as far as travel is concerned, as they want to reiterate that obviously conditions a whole lot better in Falcon than what they were earlier. Still some storms out there though. Our live Doppler radar shows that trend right now with weaker showers and storms pushing now across parts of Colorado Springs from Cimarron Hills back toward Manitou Springs. A little bit of lightning in here, a little bit of rain. I don't think we're going to have any hail from these storms as they're noticeably weaker, but there's still a pretty strong thunderstorm moving its way into Ordway. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for that storm. Some hail likely with you, so make sure the car's in the garage. Weaker storms back toward Pueblo producing some rain, and another strong one down here just bypassing Trinidad to the northeast and one to the southwest, with the main threat being hail, lightning, and heavy rain. Additional storms likely to fire up out across the eastern plains a little bit later. We'll talk more about that with our hour-by-hour forecast model coming up in just a bit. Guys.
See you then, Brian. Thank you. We have an 11 breaking news alert to get to tonight, too. We have some new information about a stabbing at a Colorado Springs apartment complex. Just about 30 minutes ago, the sheriff's office wrapped up a news conference. Deputies say everyone is accounted for this evening at that scene, but they have not said if anybody's under arrest.
We want to take a live look at the scene right now. This is at the Widefield Apartments on Kokomo Street, just east of I-25. Deputies say that a woman stabbed a man before running into another apartment. That man was taken to the hospital with a stab wound to the neck. Deputies are telling us that they're still investigating the situation, and they are doing so as a domestic violence situation. We will have more updates on this when they are available.
Now to an update to an 11 breaking news alert. 11 News is learning more about the two victims who died following a shooting at a local Elks lodge last week. Colorado Springs police just confirmed that the two victims in the shooting are Kevin Patterson and James Love. Patterson's family tells us that he was a dad of 6.
School District 12 confirmed to us that James Love was an employee for their elementary school. 11 News reporter Ashley Franco joins us live from Cheyenne Elementary School. And Ashley, police just released some new information about the shooting.
Right, they say Patterson and Love died at the hospital 2 days after they were shot. Police say they are looking for Lamar Taylor as a suspect in this case. They have not been able to locate him. Meanwhile, students at this elementary school are heartbroken over the loss of James Love. The shooting happened last Thursday at an Elks Lodge off Citadel Drive near the Citadel Mall. Police on scene tell us they believe the people involved were involved with the business and knew each other. The two victims were taken to the hospital where they both died 2 days later. This is video of the Wall of Hearts here at Cheyenne Mountain Elementary School. School District 12 tells me Love was a building manager for the district. They also say he had the biggest heart and made sure every student felt loved and appreciated.
His last name says it all. Love. He was loved. He was cherished. He was seen as someone that could be trusted, someone that would look out for them, someone that would be there for whatever they needed, and just truly an adult that they could look up to. He was a role model for all of our students.
I also spoke to the family of Kevin Patterson. His daughter tells me he leaves behind 6 kids and that he was always there for everyone. CSPD says detectives are actively working to locate the suspect to take him into custody. He is facing several charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder. For now, reporting live in Colorado Springs, I'm Ashley Franco, KKTV 11 News.
Ashley, thanks. We'll be tracking the latest on the search for that suspect tonight at 10.
Right now, Colorado Springs police tell us they believe 2 bank robberies that happened within an hour of each other are connected. Investigators say the crimes happened just before noon. According to police, a person held up the Chase Bank at the corner of Lake Avenue and Cheyenne Mountain Boulevard in southwest Colorado Springs. It's unknown what was taken or if the suspect used a weapon. Less than an hour later, police say the Wells Fargo at Platte Avenue and Circle was robbed. That's where a suspect was taken into custody. We're still waiting to hear from police on who that person is.
Officers say another suspect is in custody after a string of carjackings and a break-in in Colorado Springs. Authorities say the first carjacking happened last night near Kiowa and Wasatch, near downtown. Driver told police the suspect was armed with a gun when he took their car. Police say 30-year-old Michael Van Pelt is the suspect in that carjacking, as well as 2 more carjackings about 30 minutes after that first one. Officers say they later responded to a home break-in that was near Union and Airport on reports of a man matching the description in those carjackings, and that's when they say they arrested Van Pelt trying to get into a home. 2 of those cars were found and returned to their owners.
Nonstop news at 5:30 continues with this. An elected official has pleaded guilty to driving while ability impaired. This is Patricia Vigil, also known as Peach. She's the clerk and recorder for Los Animas County.
Police report says she got lost in Castle Rock on her way to the Colorado Springs airport and asked a nearby police officer for him to take her there, and that's when the officer arrested her, accusing her of DUI. Let's go to 11 News reporter Jack Hagee. He's in Trinidad where that clerk and recorder works. Jack's in his news vehicle because there's storms in the area there. You spoke with her, Jack. What'd she tell you?
Adam and Lindsay, she did not want to go on camera, but she told me that she is sorry for her actions. She said that she's only human and that she made a mistake and is trying to move on from it. Now, according to that police report from Castle Rock, Vigil went the wrong way through a drive-thru at 2:30 in the morning. This was back in January. She then went up to the marked police car, rolled down her window, and immediately said that she was the clerk and recorder of Los Animas County. The police report said the officer smelled alcohol and asked on a scale from 0 to 10 how drunk she was. She said 4. The report noted she had purchased a pack of shooters and consumed most of them. When the officer arrested her, she told him again that she was an elected official and that he was only arresting her to make a name for himself. Now, Vigil is still the clerk and recorder for Los Animas County and is eligible to run for re-election next November. When I asked her if she would, she told me that she's still deciding. Now, per her plea agreement, she will be on probation for a year and will pay a $200 fine. Reporting live in Trinidad, Jack Hagee, KKTV 11 News.
And this is a story we'll stay on top of. Jack, thank you.
President Joe Biden was in Colorado today as part of his tour of the West.
Coming up on 11 News at 5:30, the $1 trillion plan he talked about while he was in Denver today and what it includes.
You're watching KKTV 11 News with Adam Atchison, Lindsay Boach, Chief Meteorologist Brian Bledsoe with your certified most accurate forecast, and Taylor Kilgore with sports. This is KKTV 11 News at 5:30.
Welcome back. President Biden is on his way back to Andrews Air Force Base in Washington, D.C. this evening. He just left DIA after spending a few hours promoting his proposed $3.5 trillion spending bill in the Denver area today. That bill includes legislation, expansions to public health programs, proposes universal preschool and free community college, among other initiatives. It also includes funding to combat weather disasters related to what the president describes as climate change, which includes western wildfires and the devastating hurricanes along the Gulf Coast.
Disasters aren't going to stop. That's the nature of the climate threat. But we know what we have to do.
The president also visited California and Idaho on his trip to the West.
We now know the name of the El Paso County jail inmate who died at a local hospital. On September 2nd, a sheriff's office spokesperson says 64-year-old Wayne Baca died after being taken to the hospital for what investigators describe as various ailments. The El Paso County Coroner's Office will conduct a full autopsy to make an official determination on the cause of death.
Colorado Springs police say 12 pedestrians have been killed across the city this year. That makes up 1/3 of all traffic fatalities in the Springs since January. The most recent accident happened on Saturday after a person was hit by a truck turning into a parking lot on Austin Bluffs Parkway. Police say the person is thought to have been lying on the ground when they were hit. They were taken to the hospital. They died the following day. Right now, police are not releasing the name of that person.
KKTV is helping the National Kidney Foundation raise money to battle kidney disease. The Southern Colorado Kidney Walk is happening next weekend. It's on Sunday, September 26th.
We hope you'll join in. There's still time to sign up if you want to donate or participate. This year, the event is completely virtual. And as many of you know, this cause is very close to our hearts here at KKTV. We lost our friend and colleague Dustin Cusick to kidney disease in 2019. He was unable to get a kidney transplant in time and passed away. Today we talked with Dr. Jesse Flaxenberg. He's a kidney specialist in Colorado Springs who's helping to organize the walk this year.
There are certainly many ways to contribute, and primarily we're interested in financial donations, obviously. But just your support and showing up for the virtual event is important.
For more information about how you can join in on the walk and help people like Dustin, go to kktv.com, click on Find It. Brian.
Weaker showers moving through Colorado Springs, but we're not done with the severe weather across southern Colorado. Big storm right now impacting Crowley County, Ordway, Sugar City under the gun for hail, possibly bigger than golf balls as this thing moves off to the southeast. Areas around Highway 50, Lahana, Chirac, yeah, you're up next. We'll track the storms, what they're going to look like overnight tonight. Your full 7-day, it's up next.
Now, with an 11 breaking weather alert and your certified most accurate forecast, Chief Meteorologist Brian Bledsoe.
And a few more big storms are going to be possible across the southeast plains this evening. Our Bauer model has been doing a really good job all day, showing you where that threat was going to exist. And it's still doing so out here across the plains, doing a nice job with that bigger storm right around Ordway. And there's going to be some hail producers too. So between now, really in about, say, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock or so, that's where the storms are going to be most prevalent as they clear away from the I-25 corridor. So the farther east and southeast you go, that's where your threat's going to be. Most of those storms will at least be capable producing some hail, high wind, and some lightning, and then they'll eventually make their way into western portions of Kansas as we head after about 10 o'clock or so. That paves the way for a really pretty beginning to the morning tomorrow with a clear sky and comfortable temperatures and a little crisp feel to the air out there perhaps if you're going to be out early in the morning, but that's not going to last long because it's going to warm right back up tomorrow afternoon. Not to the levels that we've had off and on over the past several days, but 84 degrees and that sunshine, going to feel great tomorrow afternoon. So if you have any time at all to spend outdoors, whether it's in the morning or the afternoon, your Wednesday is looking fabulous. Pueblo's forecast offers a lot of sunshine from start to finish, and you'll climb up to around 90 degrees tomorrow afternoon. So no complaints there. If you still like this late summer-like feel, you've got plenty of it tomorrow afternoon in southern Colorado with 80s and 90s existing for a lot of folks. However, I've got my eye on some changes that are likely going to take place late in the weekend and early next week. Before we get there, though, that high pressure that's to our southwest is going to keep us dry and eventually warmer. In fact, some pretty toasty stuff in here during the course of the weekend and into early next week. But in time, that high is going to weaken and allow this disturbance, which is a strong one, probably one of the stronger storm systems to move through the northern Rockies, really since last spring, is going to make a run into the western high plains, and that's going to send a pretty good cold front our way. And if nothing else, it's going to chill us off quite a bit, I think, by the time Tuesday gets here. The main energy with this thing still being resolved by our computer models. If it ends up this far north, it probably won't mean much in the way of rain or snow for us. If it comes a little far south, well, things might get a little more interesting, especially for the mountains. I'm going to talk more about that tonight at 10 o'clock. In the meantime, though, quiet weather, 80s tomorrow, 90 Thursday, 83 Friday. We take a little step backward there on Friday, which is just fine with me. 83 this time of year is great. 90 Saturday and Sunday. We're still up there around 90 on Monday. Oh, boy. 65 on Tuesday? Yeah, I think a lot of us could handle that around here. I wish we could get some moisture in here, but if nothing else, we'll take the cool down. Pueblo, 90s next 2 days, briefly in the 80s Friday, and then we're back to the 90s Saturday, Sunday, and Monday before we cool it off nicely, feeling just a little bit more like fall as we head into the middle of the next week. Taylor.
All right, Brian, almost football weather. Well, the Broncos, they came into the season stacked at cornerback. Lucky for us, George Payton did not trade any of that talent away when he had buyers knocking at the door, who is now already headed to IR and who is moving into that starting lineup for week 2. Keep it here. Sports is next.
This stock market report is sponsored by Carlson Financial, putting you on the better side of retirement planning. Now, KKTV 11 Sports with Taylor Kilgore. The KKTV 11 Sports Wall, sponsored by Perkins Motors.
All right, here we are, only a week into the season, and the Broncos are already forced to lean on that depth in the secondary. Today, the Broncos have placed Ronald Darby on injured reserve for week 2. The cornerback hurt his hamstring in the season-opening win in New York. This is the first we heard about it today, but Darby, a 7-year vet, we know he was the Broncos' top off-season signing with a 3-year, $30 million deal, nearly 20 of that guaranteed. But lucky for us, Denver came in as one of the NFL's most cornerback-rich teams. So it's next man up, which means rookie Pat Surtain is moving into that starting lineup this weekend. The Broncos' first-round pick played just 16 snaps in Sunday's opener, but 1 win, 2 starters lost. Let's hope this is not a theme for the season. Darby will be missing at least 3 weeks with that hamstring injury. We told you yesterday about Jerry Jeudy. He'll miss anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks with that high ankle sprain. Again, next man up. So today the Broncos bringing up Kendall Hinton and Nate Hairston from the practice squad. The team heads to Jacksonville for week 2. Well, Air Force beat Navy in Annapolis for the first time in a decade over the weekend. That means the 50th Commander-in-Chief's trophy will be decided November 6th when the Falcons meet Army on neutral ground down in Texas. Yep, singing second. It's always the goal for this squad. Big ups to the defense for the dominant 20-point win. They held Navy to only 36 yards on the ground. We're talking about Navy, people. 68 yards of offense total. That was Navy's lowest rushing total since 2002. Saturday was extra special for junior linebacker T.D. Blackman. He's been waiting a long time to get back on the game field, and for him, this weekend was just about as memorable as it gets.
It was a great experience. I mean, for me, it was my first start ever here, and it was 9/11, obviously, and 2 great teams playing, 2 service academies, so it holds a lot of weight for both teams, and it was just a special day. The environment was wild. Everyone was amped up. There's a lot of emotions in the air. You could kind of feel it. It was just a great atmosphere.
Congrats to the Falcons. Let's keep it rolling. Well, it is payday for Nuggets power forward Aaron Gordon. Both parties agreeing to a new 4-year extension worth $92 million. It'll keep Gordon in a Nuggets jersey through 2026. The Nuggets now just 1 step closer to having all 5 starters under contract for the next 2 years at least. Last one up, Michael Porter Jr. A deal with him is expected before the season starts. And a reminder, Nuggets training camp starts 2 weeks from today. The NBA season starts a month from Sunday, if you can believe it, guys.
Hard to believe. Taylor, thank you. A reported stabbing at an apartment complex in El Paso County. We've been following that all afternoon, and when we come back on 11 News at 10, we're staying on top of that 11 breaking news alert. What else we're learning from investigators and neighbors on scene.
Also, new information in the shooting deaths of 2 people outside a busy local shopping center. The latest information as police search for the suspect still on the run days later.
KKTV 11 News is your breaking news leader. Of course, we'll break in sooner than 10 if we need to, but KKTV.com is a great place to go for updated headlines.
See you at 10.